Hey yo, what's up?
Hey,
What up? What's going on, my brother? We're about to go live. In fact, I think we're
yeah,
live right now. Yeah, we're live right now.
yeah, nice shirt, man. That's a badass shirt.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Whoa, what's going on, everybody? Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. Do we sound crispy? Are we crispy?
don't tell me there's technical difficulties again.
You know what I'm saying? No, we sound good. I just want to make sure, we're way behind schedule. Let me see, just to make sure everything's running in the chat. The chat's having a whole conversation up in here.
Bro, the chat has had 2 podcasts already.
Yo, the chat straight up had their own podcast up in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, in all fairness, I'm going to be fair, all right? I hired the same management team that managed 343, and look at this shit. Right off the gate. We're late with the podcast. The panel members aren't here. You're fired. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
You see already. This is what I get for having the same management team.
We're just contractors, man.
They were professionals. I needed somebody. They gave me a great discount. Look at this. We're already late. We're already late. Like, I could do this shit by myself. Why I need you? Get out of here. You're fired, management team. Go. No. Like, what are we doing here? The first day on the job, and the management team's already messing up. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was 343's fault. No. Yep. 343 Lag Podcast. That's what we're gonna rename this. Damn, son. So
they give you that $1 deal.
Damn, they gave me a couple of Game Pass discounts. You know what I'm saying? It's not my fault. I hired a management team. They had it all figured out. Look at this. Like, are we kidding me? You can't get co-op. You can't get my podcast running. What can you do? Like, no, we're not doing this. No, we're not doing this. Now, shout out everybody. The truth is, hey, I was running behind work. I had a long weekend off. I was off since last Tuesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, with combination of my days off and Labor Day weekend. It was a great time relaxation. But showed up to work today, and Jesus Christ. Yo, it was a whirlwind. I'm like, oh my God. So, but duty calls, and I had to do what I had to do. But of course, we were gonna have the podcast today. We're going to have the podcast today. Some members will be showing up. Oh shit, Messiah's here. Okay, Craig's here. Cool. I think Project TLOU will try to make it if he can, but I think we could work with what we got. But anyway, I want to say one thing to the members, to the people who are subscribed, to the people who show up week to week. I want to say I do respect your time. This is not something that I take lightly and stuff. So I truly apologize for running the show late. I know some of you on Europe. Trust me, I know it's challenging to watch a podcast based on the American time zone and stuff. But I do want to say I truly appreciate you guys rocking out. I hope you enjoyed the show, and thank you for sticking around. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, interact with the chat and all that stuff. But anyway, so to everybody in the chat, thank you so much for popping through. For all my channel members, thank you for popping through. For all my moderators, thank you for trying to keep the chat clean. I truly appreciate all of you. And what I also would like to appreciate is, hit the like button, keep this going, tweet this out, put it on Facebook, send the links out, let everybody know. Call me Jay. How you been, brother?
Yeah, I've been good, but I just wanted to add something to what you just said. Not only Facebook, but MySpace, bro. Share with your friends on MySpace.
MySpace,
freaking MSM.
That shit is still there. MySpace is still there.
I don't know.
Who they gonna send the link to their grandfathers? Like, oh shit. Oh shit! My shit is in MySpace. I haven't heard of that in a minute. Good. Send it to Black Planet. Mi gente.
Oh shit!
Those who know. Those who know.
Just chilling. Gaming and working. That's pretty much it.
All right. Okay. How was your? You did anything crazy for Labor Day, or just chill?
No. Yeah, I don't really do much, honestly. No.
Just chill. Just chill.
Yeah.
All right, good, man. Good to hear you. Yeah, I'm glad you came through. All right.
Yeah.
Messiah, the voice of Xbox.
Hola.
Hola. How are you doing, kind sir?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking.
Okay, how was your Labor Day weekend?
It was nice. It was nice.
It was nice.
Yeah.
Got your fill of Kentucky bourbon?
Yeah. Well, you can never have too much, but yeah. Tried a new one. Got my hands on some of that Pappy, and yeah, we enjoyed that. So, but yeah, it was a pretty nice weekend. Yeah, grilled out. So last day of the summer. Now it's dark at 8:00 now.
Already, right? As soon as Labor Day comes, boom, lights out.
Yep.
All right,
yeah,
good.
lights out.
Good, so I'm glad you enjoyed some of that Pappy.
It was nice. Yeah.
All right,
nice.
Cool.
Good stuff right there.
Nice. I'm glad you guys enjoy. I'm glad you're here. Ready to talk some game? Let's talk some gaming. Let's start out with The Last of Us remake. Did any of you gentlemen get it? Are you playing it? Or you were like me? Not so much.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it. So how are you liking it?
I hadn't played it in a long time, so it's good. I mean, it's just a really good game. It's hard to describe the atmosphere, but they did a really good job on the just the sound. The sound alone is worth the money. But I'm a sound guy. But it's if you're in the beta, I think it will output at 1440p native, I think. And but it just looks and it does have dynamic action. I've played it. I played it 4 different times or 3 different times on all the modes, and each time we were trying to escape the town, you would see something different happen. So at different points. So that does happen. But yeah, overall it's fine to me. To me, the biggest improvement is the sound and the graphics. I mean, everything on PS3 was it was in low settings, maybe some medium settings, but everything's like high and ultra textures, and it's just really well done. They did a really good job on it.
Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter playing it, right? I mean, graphically, it does look amazing. I mean, the actual 4K screenshots, I'm like, wow. Like, you do see a difference. It's pretty incredible. But I'm seeing a lot of people talking about this game, and it's restarting conversation, like the conversation of who's the bad guy. I'm like, really? We're back to this conversation? Like, we already had that conversation during the PS3. Then when the
it switched because it sold so well.
Yeah,
the game is selling so well, so they can't talk about that. The $70.
But I'm not talking. I'm not talking about the fanboys. I'm talking about the actual fans. They're back to an old conversation we had twice already. Like, we already talked about who is the bad guy. Like, it's like the battle is between, Joel or Firefly. Like, who's really the antagonist? Who's really the bad guys in this story, right?
All bad.
Yeah, right. That's my opinion, right? There is no good guy in this world.
No good guy.
The world's not meant to have a good guy, right? But what's funny is this conversation was done during the PS3 era, with when the game originally came out. Then when the remaster came out, back to the same argument, and I'm thinking, all right, we're done with this.
Yeah.
But the remake restarted the argument again, and I'm like, is this game timeless now? Is this like one of those? Is The Last of Us remake pretty much our version of The Godfather? Like, there's just some movies that will, or The Wizard of Oz. There is just some movies. There are just some books that are timeless. It will never fade out. And every time you watch it, it will always bring up the discussion over and over and over with every generation.
Believe it or not, there's actual people that haven't played the first game, and I was surprised by that too, because when we played it back then, at least when I did, I was like, bro, like, if you didn't play this game, then where were you? What's going on? But I've seen comments on YouTube or on Twitter of people being like, really? That's what happened? Joel said that? Firefly this, Firefly that? And I'm like, I don't respond, but in my mind, I'm like, wow, like, there's actual people that haven't played this.
Like,
that's kind of crazy.
You're like, are you new here? Like, what? Are you new here? Like, what?
And it's like I guess that they Naughty Dog has some data that we didn't have, because if I've seen so many people talk about it as if they never knew about what went on, or they were like, oh, I'm so curious to know what happens because in The Last of Us 2, Joel and Ellie were always arguing about some shit about saving her or whatever. So now I see what's going on, like they would see on a YouTube video or something like that. And I'm like, that's dope, because there's actually like hundreds of thousands of people, either new or old to gaming, that never played it. And maybe they didn't want to go back to that old PS4 looking version or PS3 version, and now they got this shit.
I'll be honest.
You make a good point on. You make a legitimate point. Naughty Dog has more information than everybody else about who's done what. Sony gets that information. Everybody clicks these buttons real fast when they turn their game on. They don't read what it says collecting data, so they know. I mean, so they remastered it. They know that game came out at the end of the PS3. It's won a lot of awards. People are like, yeah, right. Most people were on the 360. Most people. And then, but yeah, it's this again. I get tired of the whole back and forth with people, honestly, Jay, because they think they know more than the company does. It's like the documentary, The People versus George Lucas.
Yeah,
these
Twitter
people, the fans actually of Star Wars thought they knew more than George Lucas. And George Lucas's chair and the desk he wrote Star Wars on is in the Smithsonian. But they say they claim they know more than he does. So yeah, it's they're not. Naughty Dog is not the problem. As people have said, it's the game is visceral. It's dirty. It's difficult to play because of the movement that the zombies are making, and I laugh at the noises they make. So I laugh at it. I like, why do they sound like that? How do they come up with these noises? But they sound like children.
For me, it was the opposite. When I heard the clickers and such, especially on like the tight corner sections, bro, that shit like gave me shivers. I'm like, these motherfuckers sound disgusting. I am terrified of these guys. I don't want them to get close to me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's crazy that The Last of Us. I mean, The Last of Us in itself is an anomaly, because there's certain games that are so popular that majority of people that you see talking online never played it, but they always say that everybody has played it already. We know what the story's about, so why would they remaster it? But it's more so because it's been shared around so much throughout all these years that in people's heads they know what it is about, But another thing is the game, when you see the comparisons between PS3, even PS4 Pro to PS5, you're like, damn, bro, that's just dated. But back when you played it on the PS3, you thought that the PS3 looked like the PS5 version.
It was like a head. It's amazing how like in hindsight, or it's amazing how nostalgia makes you think a game looked when it really didn't. Like at the time, there's games you'd be like, wow, this is amazing. But if you play it now, you're like,
don't get me wrong.
How was I able to play this blurry shit? But at the time, it was the best. It was the best looking. It was amazing.
Digital Foundry actually said on their recent video that the PS3 version hardly hit 30 FPS, and I'm like, what? For me, I felt like it was 30 FPS all the fucking time.
Yeah, it felt smooth. It was great. It was like, it was amazing.
Yeah, the cutscenes were 1080p, right? Weren't the cutscenes 1080p or something like that?
Yeah. It's like Insomniac. People say Insomniac's 30 FPS feels like 60 because of their motion blurs really well. I feel like that's what Naughty Dog did back then. Like they made 24 frames feel like 30 or some shit like that. But it's like, even if you look back at those PS3 graphics, they might not have the intricacies of the facial details or like the texture quality, but they still look like you can tell that they were pushing the boundaries and like the expressions
at the time,
on their faces. Yeah, like you could still see like the agony or like the seriousness or whatever, but now you just see it like a lot more detailed, and that's like that next layer of immersiveness.
Yeah, it's just so the conversation is great when I'm seeing on Twitter, because it's just like, again, I look at this game, I'm like, man, this game hit classic status. Like this game is timeless now. Like this game. They could re-release it on the PlayStation 6, on the 7, and the outcome's going to be the same. It's going to stir up arguments. It's going to stir up Firefly versus Joel. new people are gonna be in on it. It's like the Wizard of Oz. It's like they release it on VHS, they release it on DVD, they release it on Blu-ray, they release it on 4K, they release it on 8K, and they could or it's like a Disney, they could release Cinderella, Snow White over and over and over and over. And it's just gonna be like if it came out the first time, And I'm like, man, this game is really bringing up argument because I seen the conversation. I'm like, we already had this conversation. Like, why are we having it again? And it just stirred up this I guess phenomenal feeling people have. Like, the game is something special, and I think that game is going to be one of those games that is just timeless, and people will always remember it. It's an incredible, it's going to be a hard game to top. It's timeless.
It is. It is their Godfather. It's their, it's their, like you said, you were talking about the movie comes out on this. That reminds me of the Close Encounters movie. I've got that on VHS, beta, regular CD, the old school CD, 4K and Blu-ray. But it may go down like that. And I think you brought up a good word, Porter Rod, which is nostalgia. And people were wondering why the Top Gun Maverick movie made so much money. I said nostalgia. You can't. When you get a good movie, you wax in some good nostalgia. You're going to get a lot of people to go to the theater to watch this movie. So, I agree. And just the facial animations. When she wakes up, that looks so much more real than it did even on the PS4. So they just went back and did a whole lot of stuff. And I'm not, objectively, the game has done very well. So subjectively, people can say, I don't like it. I don't like they're charging, whatever. But we can't argue with the results, and because the numbers don't lie about it. So but I agree with you. It's their Godfather. That's just a good way to look at it.
Now let me ask you.
Subjectively, those people that say that they don't like it, they also play Halo Infinite. So
shit. Is their personal game of the year, dog?
Yeah.
Yo,
the Dreamcast guy was like, "Fuck this game," and then they were like, "Yeah," and then he was justifying why he was gonna pay for it, like, fucking.
Well, a lot of people did that. Did you all notice that? A lot of people railed on it. That all of a sudden went out and paid the money and said it was for my channel. I call bullshit on those people.
Yeah.
But I don't listen to those people. The people who did that,
or ACC trophies.
Which is crazy. I don't understand that. That game, it told me to go to a workbench and upgrade my gun, and when I did it, it gave me a trophy. Like, wait, you told me to do this. You give me a trophy?
That's right, so. Because you listened.
I guess so,
it's like the sticker. It's like the sticker.
You complain. It's consumed, and you wait for the next game.
It's like the sticker you get when you pass a test. You're supposed to pass the test, but you get a sticker anyway.
When this game does go to PC. The mod that everybody's going to want to see is Deacon St. James, St. John from Days Gone, him being Joel, and let that mod once that mod comes out, you're going to see a lot of people double dip this game on PC once that mod does come out.
Oh, Deacon St. James playing The Last of Us.
Yeah. Playing in The Last of Us as Joel.
I thought you were about to say some sexual deviant shit with Ellie.
No.
I was about to say, bro, don't do it.
The one escorting Ellie.
Yeah. I was about to say, don't do it, bro. Like, don't flag this channel. This ain't
No, not flagging the
this.
channel.
This is not the Jeff Epstein. This is not the Jeff Epstein podcast. All right, we don't do that here. We're not doing that. Oh, PC gamers, please don't do it. Like, don't do it. Don't go there.
Kratos and Atreus.
Shit, that would be funny. Yeah.
Shout out. Wait till that mod comes in. When that mod comes in and you're playing as Deacon versus Joel, people are going to be like, yeah, Sony may end up having to pay for a mod like that. Because I've always said, why don't they put Deacon St. John in this game? I mean, he was running around killing zombies too.
Okay.
So.
Yeah,
you bring up a good point, because back then, certain games that had, like PlayStation, for example, has a bunch of brands. They would come out with a game, and they would have characters from other of their titles in that game.
Oh, remember? I don't know if you ever played Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but Mario was the referee. I don't think people realize that. Like Super Mario,
Yeah.
Mario was the referee.
Honestly, when I saw that back then when I was younger, I thought it was a Mario game about boxing. That's
it's pretty cool.
I thought it was Mario, and then the guy that you play as, right? They were both from the same universe, and then just Mike Tyson just happens to be a cameo in the game.
Oh man, cameo! Not knowing that that's his game.
Remember how he used to count that noise he used to make when he count the hand?
Ding, 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 ding. Oh, man. Great classic franchise.
Little Mac,
Little Mac. Shout out to Sleepy Lights. He says, just for the support. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Glad you're rocking out here. For everybody else, please hit the like button. Now, let me ask you, gentlemen, this. So, the Metacritic, overall, I'm impressed. They got an 89 Metacritic score. I actually, so you were wrong, Craig. It's not 69.
I know.
You got the 9 part. You got the 9 part. But I don't know. But in all seriousness, though, I was serious when I said 85. It actually did better than what I expected. Even though many reviewers did hit it for the price. They mentioned the combination of price because I read multiple reviews, but they didn't ding it as hard as I thought they would. Some did. But like Steviver, whatever you pronounce it, I already knew they were gonna crush it because they crushed the games anyway. But the other, like the other reviewers, I thought they were going to be much harsher. I thought they were going to be bringing it down to the 70s. And they didn't. They kept it in the upper 80s. Some still gave it in the 90s. Some still gave it 100 reviews. So I was generally surprised that despite that criticism, they didn't ding it as hard. Like, Craig, is this game still that good that even at $70, you know what? It ain't that bad. It's still a pretty good title to buy. And to talk about the standard, right? When I mentioned this on Twitter, a lot of people saying, "Oh, you can't base reviews on price, blah blah blah," or you can't, or just because they took away the multiplayer, it should be reviewed on the merit of what it is. I'm reminding people that reviews is no different than an opinion piece, and reviews are not governed by any rules or laws. At best, the individual company that hires the reviewer, like IGN, GameSpot, things like that, they may have company policy, so that way the reviews in their own company is fair. But there is no overarching dynamic or rules or regulation on what you should talk about or how to do a review, right? So an opinion or a reviewer can have that opinion that the content, the price, and what's being advertised do all impact on how they present their review to their audience, because they may be like, hey, my audience is very price conscious on the products that, that is out there. So my audience do want me to, a reviewer might be like, my audience do want me to tell them, is it worth the price at this given time? That might be that reviewer's shtick, if you know what I mean. And that's why I try to tell people it's all opinion and personality based, because that could be their thing. There could be gamers be like, hey, should I buy this day one for $70, given that it doesn't have the multiplayer, blah, blah, blah. And that reviewer might be like, hey, blah, 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 ding, dang, bada boom, bada bad, bada boom, here's my review. And then it's on the reader to accept it or not. So there is no overarching standardization. At best, it's just within that specific magazine or specific company. They might have standardization that everybody has to abide by. So like IGN, they might have a standard that everybody who writes for IGN has to abide by. But that doesn't mean IGN abide by what, Game Informer does, or Game Industry Biz. They all might be different, stuff like that. But I want to ask you guys, what's your take? And this is all opinion, but what you think generally is the responsibility of a reviewer. Do you think they should consider price? Do you think that's fair? Do you think that if a game is titled a remake, but it takes away content from the original, do you think that's a fair assessment that should be talked about? We'll start with, Jay. Let me know. What do you think generally would be a fair guide to reviewing?
I think that when it's a little slippery slope, but if you're talking about a remake of a game, which is technically somewhat of a reimagining, you could also call it that. Not having certain content, for example, multiplayer, is fine. Like I know that there's gonna be people that disagree or that they're like, no, it should be 100% of the content from the past games and the remake, but it's like, at best, I would say just lower the price a little bit of the game. But as for reviewers, I don't think that they should consider the price in it. I mean, I feel like that's more of like a YouTuber's job. They're always talking about if a game's worth it for you for the price. But as for a reviewer, right, they should just base it off of what they're seeing and maybe compare it to the past game, and say if it's worth it right now. I guess in that sense, you could use a price to, you know, add it to your review. Like if the previous game has more content and you feel like this one is like nice but doesn't have as much content, then yes, you can use the price card on that review.
Okay.
But other than that, just base it on your own merit, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Bobo Country. Thank you for the super chat. Bobo said, "Reviewers are unprofessional." Well, they only get paid $20. Some vindictive like Dreamcast guy. I don't consider Dreamcast guy a reviewer. He's a YouTube personality, right? Yeah. If you don't like it, don't tell others not to buy it and give it a 9. Disingenuous.
Oh yeah, he did that. No, I wanted to add something else. For example, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I know it's a reimagining of the same campaign of the previous game, somewhat.
Yeah.
But the Spec Ops game mode technically wasn't there.
So they added it.
So they have a Spec Ops mode, but it's nowhere near like the one that we had in Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 1. It's like, oh, jump in this map and just run around and do some stupid side missions. Whereas the Spec Ops back then, it was like freaking 30+ missions that you could go through at different difficulties, and it got increasingly harder with different objectives in each mission. So it's like, I guess we got Spec Ops, but it was more of a downgraded Spec Ops, like a lazy Spec Ops.
Okay, yeah. Right, Craig, what do you think in terms of in this context? What you think should generally be?
Well, just review what you have. I mean, just review what you have. It's like if somebody gave you a bicycle to review, and say it doesn't have a kickstand on it. Are you going to kill it and say, well, they don't have a kickstand on this bike, therefore I'm going to take points off? I mean, you know they're going to put one on there. But, yeah, I just think review what you have in hand, so to speak, and don't worry about it. If I open up a pizza parlor and I'm like, hey, Puerto Rock, I'm going to do a meat lover's pizza for you. I mean, I'll ask you, what do you think? Well, I'm just saying, you know, and you say, yeah, this was good, blah, 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 all right? But you're not going to say, I say review it, and you're not going to say, well, I want to talk about the veggie pizza. I'm like, well, I didn't give you that. How you going to review this? You know, so just review what you have in hand.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Because someone did bring up a good point. I'm thinking, well played. When Naughty Dog did the remaster of The Last of Us, right? That for the PS4, it was a remaster of the PS3 games, but they included The Last of Us DLC. It included a multiplayer, right? They added 60 frames, and they added 8 new maps that was not part of the PS3. So they actually added more content to the game, updated the graphics. Obviously, not as far as what the PS5 did, obviously, because they completely did overhaul the engine. But still, they remastered it, 1080p, 60 frames. Still maintained the multiplayer, but added 8 new maps and included the DLC, and it was $60. And now they released the remake, overhaul the engine, everything. I think it includes the DLC, right? It includes. But they removed all the multiplayer content to include the extra 8 maps that the remaster had. Now, does that make you wonder? Like, wait a minute, you know? And the only reason why I say that is because I do agree with Craig to a certain point. Review what you have. For example, I could see that with The Last of Us 2. Even I complain. To be fair, I had my criticisms that The Last of Us 2 didn't have multiplayer like The Last of Us 1. So if the first game in the franchise had multiplayer single player, why wouldn't the sequels? But again, the sequel was its own unique title, and the single player campaign was much bigger than the first. So where it lacked the multiplayer, they doubled down on the single player, which, to be honest, is the main draw of the game. You know, it's kind of like certain games have a certain draw, even though they have both. Like Call of Duty, they have a great single player, but let's not pretend the. So what? That's the steak of the steakhouse. Sure, you got mashed potatoes loaded. You know, you got sour cream, chives, butter, bits of bacon, delicious. But you could get that anywhere. It's all about the steak, right? So obviously the steak of The Last of Us is the single player, and they double down, amazing single player campaign, So when Craig says, do what you got, rate what you got, that's definitely a case for The Last of Us 2. Don't ding it for the lack of multiplayer because a completely different game had multiplayer, right? Even though it's in the same franchise. Yeah. But in this case, it is the same game. It is the game. That's why it's called a remake. It is The Last of Us 1. It is not The Last of Us 3, and it's definitely not a new IP. It is that game that Sony released. And when they remastered it, they not only kept the mode, but they actually added to the mode with 8 new multiplayer maps for the same price. So does that maybe, make thinking like, oh, you know what? Based on that information, Naughty Dog may have. Now, to be fair, I understand why Naughty Dog did it. Because they don't want to extend the lifeline of The Last of Us 1 factions. That's the answer. Everybody's wondering why. That's number one. Because if they were to include that in this remake, they just added another 5 years to that. And they probably don't want to give that mode 5 years because all focus is on Factions 2. That's the focus. That's the multiplayer for The Last of Us going forward. They're not going to go back to the old stuff. They're moving on forward. So I get that. But would you say it's still kind of fair that even though Sony made that risky decision, they still get criticisms for that risky decision? Because you can make sense on a decision, and it can make absolute sense. That still doesn't mean you won't get the criticism. So what do you guys think about that with that information?
But before either of us go into that in depth, I wanted to ask you specifically, because you were mentioning, you were comparing, The Last of Us PS3 versus PS4 and now PS5. So let's say Last of Us, the first iteration, which was the PS3, came out alongside God of War 3 or Uncharted 3. Okay. So it wasn't at it wasn't on the last year of the PS3's life cycle. Okay. With the PS4 version, get all the features, and it would have moved everything back up. Because it's like I feel like they did that because the PS3, they put the game out literally months before the PS3.
It was 2013, it was 2013, yeah.
So that same year the PS4 came out. So it's like they were like, it makes sense why they did it so fast because it's such a huge game, and majority of people were already sort of moving on from the PlayStation because of how weak it was and how weak it felt.
Good point.
So, but what if it came out years before that? Would have moved on with everything plus more like it is now on PS4. And as for PS5, you already talked about how the focus is on the new standalone factions, live service thing, which even if they weren't focused on live service how they are now, I feel like this remake wouldn't have gotten multiplayer, because it's like we as gamers expected The Last of Us 2 to get multiplayer. So just because it wasn't there, it's like that's actually something interesting. Like, why are people expecting this remake to get multiplayer if The Last of Us 2, which is the sequel and the better game technically, didn't get multiplayer because we're getting it later on? So it's like they want to split the community. So it's like if this game had multiplayer and then the faction standalone came out, then it would also be because now it's split the community and
and they have to manage 2 servers. Like I said, they didn't want to extend the life of The Last of Us 1 multiplayer, so it makes sense. Yeah. I get it. Shout out to LC with the super chat. LC states, "What if they gave they gave us the whatever multiplayer ND is working on for free to the ones who bought The Last of Us 1 remake?" So that's a good point, because some people are like, man, can Sony make an announcement that whoever bought the remake gets the multiplayer free? That could still be the case. But because they haven't officially unveiled the game and how it's going to be rolled out, I don't think they could just simply say, "Oh, you're going to get The Last of Us, Factions 2 free for those who. I don't think they are able to do that without actually introducing the game. But that could be a possibility, assuming it's not free to play. Because if it's free to play, then it doesn't matter at that point.
Even if it is free to play, they can still. If you bought The Last of Us 1 remake, or if you bought The Last of Us 2
DLC,
you're gonna get
outfits.
You're gonna get goodies.
Yeah, they could do that.
Unique character skins, or like clothing skins or weapon skins. Yeah. So it'll make you stand out from the normal free-to-play player because you played those games and you bought those games.
Yeah.
So it's not technically paying for your game because it'll be probably free-to-play, but you're going to get those incentives for supporting their franchises.
Yeah. So all those things are still open to the table. For those who bought the remake, they could later on announce, if you bought the remake, you will automatically get certain things in Factions 2. So that's still possible. But I think because Factions 2 hasn't been officially unveiled in the sense of, first look, trailer, teaser, something like that, they are withholding any marketing or advertisement stuff. Boba Country. Hold on. With the super chat.
Don't buy the games expecting that.
Yeah, don't buy the game. We're just making assumptions, right? Don't come and be like, Puerto Rock said. Like, no, don't do that. We're just making assumptions. Oh, yeah. All we're saying is that the possibility of getting some type of fringe benefit is not completely ruled out until we see more of the actual rollout for Factions 2. Bobor says Part 1 is the most polished IP on sale today. So what do you think? What do you say?
Disagree.
What do you say, Craig? Is it very polished? It's not polished? Is there issues?
No, it's not the most polished. I mean, it's his opinion. He's definitely welcome to it. Now, the most polished
IP today
I have seen is
Mass Effect.
Forbidden West.
Oh, Forbidden Really?
Oh,
yeah, as far as the polish on it, as far as the way that game looks.
I like that you say that because in my mind it's Red Dead Redemption 2, and I think
that's fine too. Yeah, that looks great as well. So
I think they're very close because I know why you said that because they both have so many back-end systems running at the same time that it has to be polished enough to where it runs and it doesn't crash or it doesn't bug out like Ubisoft games. Yeah. So I agree. Even though I think Red Dead is heavy, but I agree with you with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but there's nothing wrong. It's not that it's bad. I mean, the game looks extremely clean to make you feel so dirty, But yeah, it's especially I mean, there's a scene where they're running through like the sewers and stuff like that. That scene alone, with the way they did the screen space reflections, and it was just that good. He's right as far as the way it looked. I politely disagree with it being the most polished game, but there's nothing. Look, I'm not gonna argue, with it. Hey, look,
of course.
You like whiskey, I may drink bourbon. We both like what we like, but I don't think. I think the game is a really well done remake. So, and everything Naughty Dog they did their deep dive on. You see it in the first probably 30 minutes, arguably maybe 30, 40 minutes. The thing that stands out for me personally is the sound. Everything from when they shut down the town. If you're walking underneath the speaker, it sounds like the speaker is above your head. If you're already past the speaker, it sounds fainted. Call Me Jay brought up the thing with the clickers. Now you can actually you know how you can use that one button.
The sense.
You don't have to use that because the sound is so good. You can pinpoint where they are. Well, I shouldn't say pinpoint, but you can really get a good sense on where they are.
It's spatial.
That alone. Now those ones that come actually real fast.
It's spatial.
I got problems with them dudes, but they attack differently. The PS3 version and PS4 version, they kind of attack single file, like a martial arts movie. One person would come up. They don't do that this time. They can both come at you. One will lunge, the other one will come at you a different way. If you swing something at them, if you hit them the first time, you try to swing again, they will get out of the way. They'll anticipate. Great
AI, absolutely phenomenal AI.
So far, it's been exactly what they said, and now it may get worse, it may get better, but it's everything they've said. So I paid $70, and look, you all know I'm a physical man. I paid digital So I went digital on this game. So
oh, you went digital on that ass?
I went digital on that ass. So I'm still getting the physical version, but I'm gonna give it away.
Okay.
But
Oh man.
so stay tuned for
All
more
right.
on that. But,
Bobor, he says, stupid DC guy, and others want a free game. Astro question mark, man. You know what's funny? I noticed that trend. A lot of YouTube content creators expect free shit. Like, what the F? Like, it's just, it's crazy.
When
That's just a weird thing.
It feels weird when you see some YouTuber on Twitter asking a company for a code. Like you see people do that, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, some guy was like, I think it was Ubisoft or someone who posted like a tweet saying, imagine something, right? And like a funny tweet. And then a YouTuber he wasn't even that big. He was like, imagine not giving me a code. I'm still waiting. And I'm like, what the fuck is this entitlement, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Oh, I'm lucky I'm not the developer, because I would be like, imagine me giving a fuck. You know, that's crazy. Excuse my language. But anyway, hit the like button. So let's move on to the next topic. So have you guys seen the Rick and Morty God of War commercial? So let me play it right now.
Yeah.
Play it right now. So I need you guys to stay silent while I set this up.
Going on an epic adventure, Morty. What? God of War, Morty, the new one. Kratos is a dad, the kid is curious. Like you, Morty, you're curious. What does shaving your head have to do with... Why do we have to do anything, Morty? I don't know, because of fear. Wrong, Morty. Money? Yeah, but not this time. Love, family, I don't know. That's good, Morty. Find your motivation. We have to make choices, and we have to face the consequences. We're going to the 9 realms. Oh my God. Finally, the Leviathan axe and other unannounced upgrades.
And other unannounced upgrades.
Yeah, sure, whatever you want. Oh, can you use that thing on the birds, please? And get blood on it? No.
God of War Ragnarok, rated M for mature, available on PlayStation.
I found a boat, Morty. You're gonna row though, not me. It's a big axe, and I have to make sure it doesn't get wet.
So I tell you what, man, Sony knows how to advertise.
Yeah.
So they really know how to put a spectacle. I mean, from Spider-Man train station to God of War, what was it, in the NBA Finals with Golden State?
Oh, they had that 3D shit going on.
Yeah, the mass transit in London also with Spider-Man. That was Rick and Morty, and I guess a lot of people, I guess it's season 6 of Rick and Morty. Huge fan base, and I guess that's like the lead off to season 6. But one thing that's interesting, they gave us a little teaser saying, you know, the Leviathan axe. Oh, and unannounced upgrades. You know, so I'm just interested to see, you know, what type of weapons and upgrades are they talking about, because that's a good little teaser right there. You know, what do you guys think? Do you think Santa Monica's gonna go out the box with weapons, or do you think they're gonna reintroduce weapons from the previous God of War and we're gonna be like, oh shit? Or how about this? You can answer that question, and then if it is a weapon from the previous God of War and you play God of War, what weapon would it be? Like, what weapon would you love to see come back?
So, okay, so to set the stage, basically, the God of War 2018, right?
Yeah.
As good as that game is, and as polished and whatever, right, technically is, it's just the foundation. It's literally the foundation set that was placed for the next God of Wars to come out. Because now that they have everything set in place, they can go all out outside the box.
Yeah.
You know, they can tap into, tap into so many things, right? So I can see. I wouldn't mind if they bring back weapons from the previous games. I just don't know if they would fit. Like, is it Medusa's head that was that you could freeze people in time?
Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like I would like that, but I don't see how that would work because it's a different era.
Yeah.
But I could see them bringing new shit. And I besides weapons, I mostly want them to have more like humanoid creatures or humans to fight, because I want to see blood. I don't want to see like yellow, orangey, gooey stuff, right? But one weapon that I think Kratos will fucking go crazy with is like a Wolverine style type of gloves that he finds or he crafts, right? And it has like spikes. So you switch to that, and then you just you're boxing people, but you're basically just stabbing them and just tearing them apart with that shit.
Okay. All right. What about you, Craig? Well, wait a minute.
Well, I mean,
which
to start?
Yeah.
The mere fact
here we go.
that he needs a weapon at all. He needs some kind of newfangled weapon. Means he ain't the god of war. Because
Why?
Ares is a god, and he don't need no weapon. But
well, apparently he needed it because he got killed by Kratos.
Well, no, he didn't. That was a fake Ares.
That was not fake Ares. Listen, listen. If you want to think about it, if you're named Ares, you're always gonna lose in Greek mythology. He lost to Xena. He lost to Wonder Woman. And he loses to Kratos.
Well, but that was
so, no, you just lose. He just, Ares, the god of war. A guy who's god of war, you're always losing wars.
Well, that thing was Wonder Woman.
Xena, Wonder Woman, Kratos. Like who hasn't whooped on the god of war at this point? who did he actually ever beat at this point? He's losing. Xena, the Princess Warrior, Wonder Woman, Kratos.
Yeah.
He ain't beating nobody.
But what I like about it mostly is that, again, you had all the moisture of these guys screaming, "Where's God of War information?" And as I said before, your God of War information is going to come out after the last of it, because they're not going to get on top of their own game, and that's what you're starting to get. So I'm excited that those people finally have content, even though they're called content creators. That they have content to use to give you all, even though you all can look it up yourself. You just have to sign up for the alerts, and you get the same alerts that they get. But I agree. Like something kind of, I would like to just see with a good old fashioned. Let's give him like a sword or something, not an axe. Give him a sword or something like that, or let him pick up some weapons from dead enemies, dead bosses, or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool too. But it's not. If they don't, it's not like I'm gonna be like, this is terrible. So I'm still buying the game day one.
Okay.
That's a good idea too. Having like a secondary weapons that have like a health bar, like in the Breath of the Wild, they break. Prince of Persia: Water Within did something similar to that. You can pick up enemy weapons, but it'll just break if you use it too much.
But wear down faster. Or upgrade it. Take it to the blacksmith, the smithies, and they upgrade it. So something like that. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of things they can do with it. But I like those chain things he had. That to me was the best weapon I've used.
The Chaos Blades.
Those were.
That's amazing. That scene where he realizes he needs the Chaos Blades because he has to go to the frozen, area. And then like you see him opening them up. Oh my god, that scene was so powerful because you can see the pain that he just, because it's just a complete reminder of everything he's trying to avoid, and he had to break it out once again. That's just incredible. Okay. It's incredible.
And it's like I think in this new one, the trailer, they had like a tough scene where Atreus is like, "Stop treating me like a son and treating me like a soldier," or something like that. And he turned back screaming, "No!" So it's like, I really hope that they go more in depth into their relationship in this game, because I want my strings freaking ding 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 going crazy when they have emotional moments, because Kratos needs that shit,
Yeah, I really want to see how he evolves into Loki. I just want to see how they play that role. That's just
their take on it.
Yeah, that's just gonna be really interesting. Shout out to Jay Thomas. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Twitter is like a giant human thought and opinion dumpster fire. Sure. Yo, Jay out here. Sure, you may get some warmth and solace and comfort from it, but at the end of the day, you're still getting warmth and comfort from burning garbage.
That's a fact.
Eloquently put, Jay. Thank you for the super chat. That's pretty funny. All right. Post says, why not give Kratos a machine gun? Come on, man.
There you go. And let him call in the B2 as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, get. Send Kratos a care package. My bad, said give him a machine gun. Oh, man. It's funny, off topic, But I remember seeing a video. It was like one of Gorilla's keynote speech or developer talk or whatever. And they were talking about when they were making Horizon, Zero Dawn, and why they went with more tribal weapons is because they had a version, because it's the future, right? And people were wondering what happened to all the weapons, the machine guns and all that stuff, right? I mean, surely not every single weapon, or why weren't they recreated and stuff like that? Well, they said they did have a build with machine guns, but no matter what they did, the game was still too easy. And they showed actually a sample of the Killzone guy coming in with a machine gun and just destroying almost every dinosaur. And they said with the gameplay, they couldn't figure out how to make it challenging because you just can't. You literally have a machine gun and you're just hailing bullets at huge ass, these dinosaurs, machines. They're just open targets. They explain how it's not the same as facing another soldier because a soldier can hide behind a wall. What the hell is a Tyrannosaurus Rex gonna do? Like, they're not gonna lay down and see cover. Like, there's nothing they could do. They're just gonna charge at you, but you're unloading massive amounts of bullets and missiles that they're just dying, and there's no way to make that challenging. So that's why they went with a fair but prehistoric way of thinking, because they said modern weapons, you could easily just dominate the whole game because the enemies don't have the advantage of an actual human being soldier. Human being soldier could dive out the way, see cover, flank you with other weapons, and they shoot back. The dinosaur's just gonna be like, ah, and then you just until they die. It was pretty funny with the video they showed. Like, literally, that was happening. They were just going crazy. It was pretty crazy. Post. I wish Alloy had a jetpack so you could fly around. Oh, snap.
There you go.
My man Post out here wishing that, Alloy was Boba Fett. Oh, snap.
Yeah,
machine gun and jetpack.
Shout out. Yeah. For Mandalorian. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Shut up. But that was a pretty cool intro. I think this month Game Informer is gonna have a full reveal like normal. Some of Sony's biggest games always have a Game Informer. That's when you know it's coming. That's when you know it's not getting delayed. When the game is on the cover of Game Informer, which they always do, it's done. It's out. It's coming. I'm looking forward to. Who's gonna get a day one? Are you guys getting a day one?
Yeah, if I'm off work that day, I'm grabbing it. It's a double hitter. I'm gonna grab it and go see Wakanda Forever because I believe they both come and hit the same day.
When is Wakanda Forever? Is it on that same day? It can't be.
I believe it's the same day that God of War is slated to come out. It's like the first Friday in November or second Friday in November.
Because I'm gonna be honest, if Wakanda comes out that day, it's gonna have to take a rain check.
It could. I mean, I'm
because I'm playing that God of War though.
Pull it off. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have that day off when Wakanda Forever comes out.
I am playing. You know what I'm saying? Let me see.
It's like a Target day. Then I'll probably go to the movie. I'm gonna go see that movie at least 3 times. So I'll probably go see the movie. Then after the movie, pick up my God of War. That's my plan. So God willing, not would.
All right, let me see. Jesus Christ, I'm like on the Regal app, and they're showing me like every upcoming movie. Like, why do they have Twilight? I guess they're gonna reshow Twilight in the theater. Like what? Like why?
They've been doing that lately. It seems like they've been doing like reshoots.
Yeah, Godfather. They're gonna put it back in the theater. They literally got the whole Twilight saga. This, like, holy cow! Like what? They're gonna reshow these movies. Let's see what else. Dawn of the Dead 3D 1978 back in theaters. The hell? We ran out of ideas for movies that we're gonna just bring back the old shit and charge $50.
They're the Last of Us movies now.
Oh shit, this is crazy.
I had to pause because otherwise I'd be like,
yeah, that's a good one. No, November 11th is Wakanda Forever. Now, I'll go see it on the 8th. I should have my tickets on the 8th.
Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I didn't even know them. Oh, I'm gonna have to start watching some trailers tonight.
Yeah.
Let me see.
And they've got some.
Where the hell is Wakanda Forever?
Well, you're getting. It's November 11th.
Oh, I can't wait to see Halloween Ends.
Oh, come on.
Whoa, hold up. There will be no Michael Myers slander on this podcast. Yeah. We will not slander.
Jamie Lee Curtis is like 95
years
old.
And she is whooping people's ass.
Yeah, she's still kicking ass and with gray hair. Menopause and everything. She's still whooping people's asses.
She trained all her life for this.
Yeah. Halloween 7, menopause.
Oh my God. This guy's terrible. It said menopause. Okay. Is there a search function in this motherfucker? Can I?
Are you still looking for Wakanda Forever?
Yeah.
It's November 11th.
All right. I don't trust you. Oh, you said the 11th?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. All right.
We ain't gonna have anything that far out. They shouldn't, not unless it's a re-release. But yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. So let's see. What's the other topic? Oh, Matt Booty. Yeah, Booty. All right. Here we go. Matt Booty, the infamous Matt Booty. Let me read what he said. What's this? Silent Hill Project Sakura leaked, reportedly planned for PS5. Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure somebody on this podcast last week said something about Silent Hill.
I'm so sick of that rumor. Tencent buys part of Ubisoft. Oh, here we go.
They did?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Apparently it was a big chunk of it.
Interesting.
Well, they were out there looking for it. So.
They were looking and they were liking.
Yep, 300 million on Assassin's Creed machine. There you go. Wow.
Oh, here we go. Xbox Studios boss says days of single studio AAA games are long gone. But I think that some people are taking it out of context. So I am going to read what he said. So Xbox Studios boss says days of single studio AAA games are long gone. Matt Booty says Crystal Dynamics work on Perfect Dark is normal, not proof of quote unquote a problem. The head of Xbox Game Studios says the days of single studios working on large scale games are long gone. During Q&A at PAX West 2022 over the weekend, Booty was asked whether the large number of game delays over the past couple of years could be blamed mainly on the COVID-19 pandemic. Booty replied that while the pandemic clearly played a key part in it, there are other aspects of modern game development that make delays more likely. These include the difficulties in adapting to a new generation of hardware, the challenges in Q&A testing more complex games, and the fact that so many big games are now made with multiple studios. How we make games is evolving, Booty explained. The idea of a single team under one roof really doesn't happen that often anymore. I'll use an example. Our Perfect Dark team down in Santa Monica, The Initiative. So we just did this big partnership with Crystal Dynamics, and I read online, this must mean there's a problem or something. It's quite the opposite, right? You got this veteran team at Crystal Dynamics, a big AAA team with over 100 people that becomes available. Of course, we want to work with them, particularly if they made a game like that before. And that's how we've done an awful lot of work. If you think about Age of Empires 4, which launched last fall, that was made in partnership with Relic Studios up in Vancouver, great partnership. And even something like Flight Simulator, we worked with a studio in France called Asobo. And that kind of code development, when you're working out with people like Certain Affinity, Iron Galaxy, Blackbird, Interactive, and all those studios are so key to the product that we make. That, though, also adds some complexity where if one of those studios has problems, it then impacts the schedule. So the days are gone when you can sort of go everybody, round up the team in the cafeteria. I want to tell everybody to work harder this Wednesday. That's long gone. It's gotten a lot more complicated than that. Xbox signed up Marvel's Avengers and Tomb Raider developer Crystal Dynamics in September 2021 to help develop its Perfect Dark reboot. At the time, the initiative tweeted Perfect Dark update. We are partnering with Crystal Dynamics, the world's class team behind character-driven games such as Tomb Raider, to bring this first-person spy thriller to a new generation. However, VGC reported in March that the initiative has seen a fast and furious wave of senior departures in the past 12 months. As much as half of the core development team known to be working on the upcoming Perfect Dark reboot quit the company during last year. At the time, the initiative management told VGC it was confident in the team it had in place and new talent joining and pointing to industry-wide staffing challenges during COVID-19 pandemic. However, senior, current, and former initiative developers VGC spoke to attributed the wave of departures to frustration among senior talent over the direction of the project set down by studio head Daryl Gallagher and game director Daniel Nurberger, who himself left the company this year. So, what do you guys... Now, let me ask you this. Let me set the tone, all right? So, I understand what he's talking about, that more and more you're starting to see, AAA studios hiring other AAA studios, to work on projects. But here's how I see initiative different than anything else. And I'm going to use Sony to make this more understandable. There is a difference between, let's say, Naughty Dog making a new AAA IP, they're working on it, and then they get Sony Ben to help finish the project. We know Naughty Dog has a pedigree for great talent. They know how to make great games. They make creative games. They do great work. Sony Ben is clearly being used as manpower. Professional, highly skilled manpower, but it's still manpower. But under the same routine, if now all of a sudden, let's say, newly acquired studio Haven, which now falls under Sony, never made a game, brand new studio, what's her name? She's the creative director of the studio, Jade Raymond. The last thing Jade Raymond, the last notable thing she did was Assassin's Creed, and that was the PS3 era. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden, let's say we hear the news, Haven Studios gets Guerrilla on board to help make their multiplayer game. Now people are going to have concerns because Guerrilla made multiplayer games. We don't know anything about Haven Studios being able to make multiplayer games. We don't even know if Jane Raymond knows how to make a multiplayer game because people say, she made Assassin's Creed. True, but that's not a multiplayer game.
It has multiple components.
Yeah.
It depends on which game she was involved in.
Yeah. So can you understand the difference between the two? Where one, it has an established pedigree of making great games. So when they go to a studio, let's say like Sony Ben or even Insomniac, they just want great help, help from great people to finish their game. But when a Haven studio, who hasn't released nothing yet, so we don't know their pedigree, we don't really know what capabilities they have going on in terms of making great content. And now they hired a studio that is more well-known than them and has made more games than them. You might wonder about Haven Studios. Like, wait a minute, this is kind of weird. Like, is this even going to be a Haven game? Or is this just like Guerrilla's game, but co-stamped by, And I think that was the main issue with the initiative. It's not so much that people don't understand that AAA studios don't get help from great studios, but initiative hasn't done anything. And then with the amount of people that left, and now out of the blue, we got Crystal Dynamics. Like, Crystal Dynamics is a well-known studio, and they're well-known for making AAA games. Initiative is not known for anything other than people were just leaving consistently.
To add to that real quick, when it got announced, everybody thought that, okay, so Crystal Dynamics making the game now. Then
exactly.
Everybody thought.
Because they're the ones they're the AAA studio. They're well more known. They got their shit together. Initiative, we don't know anything. Like, the initiative that first got created, that was hyped to be the quadruple A studio, that's not the initiative we have now. All those guys left. Yep. People on Twitter, Xbox guys were bragging, we got this creator from God of War. We got this creator from The Last of Us. Oh my God, this team from Insomniac. My God, from Guerrilla. They all left. They're not there no more. They're like, nah, we're not staying here. Some of them went back to Sony. So what do you guys think about Matt Booty? He does make a statement that's true. AAA developers will hire AAA developers. But I think he's using that to cover and make it seem like, but everything's fine with Initiative. No, I don't think everything's fine with Initiative. You know what I'm saying? You can make a true statement, but that doesn't mean that everything's fine with the Initiative. What do you guys think?
So he He's mainly talking to the people that don't really know that much, honestly. Because people like us that we follow the Twitterverse of news and shit like that, we know what's going down with mostly, not everything, but we know somewhat about what the initiative is going through, and even people that left that studio have said themselves that it just wasn't good, and it was like a very badly managed.
Yes.
So he's obviously deflecting, and so he's 100% correct. But like you stated, there's a difference between a studio that's already established getting help to finish a game versus a new one that never made one getting help from a established studio. Everybody would think that when you boot up Perfect Dark, it's going to say Crystal Dynamics with the help of the initiative rather than the other way around. So it's mostly deflection. He's talking to the ignorant people that, not in the bad, and I'm not saying ignorant as an insult, but to the ignorant folks that don't really pay attention, so that they're like, okay, so it's all good, right? That's pretty normal in the industry that people do that. So yeah, in my personal opinion, I feel like if management is really an issue, because it seems like it is on Xbox, I feel like Phil Spencer or the higher ups at Microsoft should hire Sony or something to be like, help us, teach us how to fucking manage a studio or manage studio as well, because Sony and Nintendo seem to be doing a really good job at it. So it's like, hire people that were in that field on those companies that know what the fuck they're doing and they have experience to help the higher ups on Microsoft lead their games, because in the end of the day, all we really want is Microsoft to make banger ass games that compete with Nintendo and Sony. And as long as that management is as bad as people say that have worked on Microsoft still stays that way, we're never really going to get that. If we were going to get a Halo Infinite, a Sea of Thieves, that in a couple years it might get good, but not out of the gate.
Okay,
that's my piece.
All right, what do you think, Craig?
I have an issue with what he said. I mean, I guess the only thing that's kind of questionable is why not use one of your own 3,000 first-party studios that you have. So,
well, you see how that's going for them. Have you not noticed Halo Infinite? They have their own problems.
Sony always comes out, and Sony will tell you that, yes, if Sony Ben is making a game and they call upon Naughty Dog to come in and maybe help them do some stuff, Naughty Dog will go over there and help them. Or, you all brought up Haven Studio. Well, you're right. She hasn't made a game since Assassin's Creed. Fair enough, but she's also now working with Mark Cerny on this game that they're creating.
Okay.
So,
okay. So Mark Cerny's part. Oh, he's there. Yeah, he's really.
Yeah. That's why they bought the studio.
Okay.
That's the reason they bought that studio without people are like.
No, but I didn't know Mark Cerny was involved. That's okay.
Yeah, Cerny's heavily involved with this game.
Mark Cerny's like.
Yeah. And Cerny, yeah, that's a good team right there. But that's it. I mean, that's why I talked about this yesterday. I don't have a issue with what Matt Booty said. Like I said, the only thing that I just kind of like, well, why not use your own studios then? Why go outside to a studio that's now, I believe, isn't CD owned by a Chinese company now?
It's owned by Embracer Group.
Is it
Embracer? And I really hope Embracer Group will give the support Crystal Dynamics need, because I really want to see Marvel's Avengers get better. I enjoyed the game, but I can see why so many people bashed it, and I can see the issues with it. Even the netcode still is messed up. Online still is trash.
Well, what I didn't like about it was just a smash up game.
Yeah.
That's all it was. I mean, unless you used Iron Man, which made it a range type of game.
Yeah.
But all the rest of those characters it didn't matter. You used Black Widow.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
It was the same thing.
Yeah.
Just different animations.
Yeah.
But no, I think it can get better.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that was my only question was, hey, go out and get the right help. You go out, when the Navy SEALs attacked Bin Laden's compound, they had help. The 82nd, I believe, was over there.
What was that?
Just in case the Pakistanis got.
I get the point.
Yeah, they had help. So, but they went within their own thing. But within that was my whole thing. Is that okay? I understand going out and getting somebody special to help because they make those type of games.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But what that tells me, and I said this yesterday, is I really hope Perfect Dark isn't a clone of Tomb Raider, because that's what that studio is going to do. they're going to make Joanne Dark,
Lara Croft,
Lara Croft, Joanne Croft,
Joanne Croft.
That's what they're gonna make her, and so that will be interesting. But they bought all these studios, they have all these people at their disposal. Why not go to your own studios? And maybe they did, and they were trash. I mean, maybe we just don't know. So
yeah, I wanted to ask you that. It's like I'm not expecting you to know everything, like when it comes to the Xbox part, but it's like, is there a studio that is capable of making a Tomb Raider like? Because essentially, a third-person Perfect Dark is pretty much like a Uncharted / Tomb Raider clone, but in the future, right? So it's like, are any other studios capable or have made similar games? Because I don't think so.
Yeah, Ninja Theory. But but I understand if they're all deployed on their own. I get it as well. If Ninja Theory is deployed on its own game and they sound like it's all hands on deck, that's fine too. So maybe they did and they couldn't work scheduling or whatever, and that's fine too. Because we're never going to know everything.
Yeah.
So, but my whole take on it was, okay, it makes sense to go to them, but Microsoft has bought, 10,001 studios, so why don't you use that? But that's it. It's not really it's an observation more than a criticism.
Right. Shout out to LC. He says Phil Spencer should focus more on work than playing PlayStation games. Can you help him?
Shouldn't.
Can you help him? Can you help it? There's greatness.
He shouldn't. Shouldn't. He's learning from those games. Let him play.
Let him enjoy greatness. Let him enjoy greatness. Right. Yep. So all right. So hey, we ran ahead of the topics. Right. So I'm gonna wrap up the show to present you guys the latest content you can enjoy on Xbox Game Pass. The greatest value now available through cloud, console, and Windows PC. You can now enjoy Disney's Dreamlight Valley, The League of Super Pets, You Suck at Parking, Train 3 SimWorld, Despot's Game, Metal Hellsinger, Opus Magnum, and Ashes of Singular Escalation. These amazing, exquisite title is brought to you in part by Game Pass. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's just an exquisite selection of titles.
The train game is, I may play that. But You Suck at Parking. I mean, what the hell?
Here's the thing though, right? Those last two games are like popular PC games, whereas everything else there, except for Metal Hellsinger, right? Everything else there is like some fucking 1A freaking garbage games that is on Xbox. So the exclusives that are only on PC are actually good games, whereas the ones that are on console.
This is the part I want to hit, and this is where I want to hit you guys, you Xbox gamers. Look at the list. Do you see any game that only has console only? Not a single game is a console exclusive. Yet they got 2 PC exclusives for Game Pass. 2 PC exclusives. Yet not a single console exclusive. Not one. When was the last time the Xbox console got an exclusive that cloud or PC didn't get? Because so far PC's getting so many exclusive content on PC Game Pass. Like it's like now it's like, and I warned you guys, man. I warned you guys years ago when Microsoft put Gears Tactics, right? Gears Tactics on PC first, and then later on consoles, right? And the PC gamers were like, wait a minute, the Xbox controller controls is already here, so you could play on a controller. And I was like, hold on, wait a minute. My assumption was that it was only playable on mouse and keyboard, and that they're trying to adapt it to a controller. But the game launched with controller support, yet they still, for whatever reason, made the decision to only release on PC. And I say, if you guys let that shit slide, if you don't thrash Microsoft, I'm talking give them the unholy wrath of the Xbox fanboy, you just co-signed that strategy. And that shit is took hold. Microsoft has no problem looking to your face. They're literally staring to your face and saying, this is PC only. So shut the fuck up. And you can do nothing about it. Nothing.
It's not even cloud, so they can't even play it through cloud, dude. It's
Yo,
on PC.
That shit is crazy. I told you that shit was gonna bite you guys in the ass. If you guys did not thrash the living shit out of Phil Spencer for putting Gears Tactics, and you had to be like stare Phil in the eye and tell him, listen, motherfucker, don't you ever in your goddamn life ever make that decision again. Don't even think of making that decision. If it can't come to Xbox, then it doesn't come anywhere. You got it? If it doesn't come to the console, then no one gets it. Either we all get it or nobody gets it. Or if there's any platform that gets an exclusive, it's the console. That's the only platform that gets exclusive. Nothing else gets exclusives. And y'all let him do that. And now, multiple times now, that dude is getting PC Game Pass exclusive content. Death Stranding, League of Legends, this, Age of Empires. Oh, he's going ham with that. Now he gives no Fs. Oh shit, this shit is wild, man. Y'all should have went wild on Xbox. Phil Spencer, when he made Gears Tactics time exclusive, you should have ripped him such a new a-hole that he would break out in sweats if he even thinks of locking out Xbox consoles. You should have him like nervous at the thought. But he gives no Fs, bro. No Fs. So that's always, listen, PC Game Pass is always going to get new content. Always. Yep. We'll always get exclusive content. Xbox console Game Pass, you'll never see exclusive content. That ain't happening.
A couple years ago, they made it so the launcher on PC for the Xbox can support mods. So games that are on Steam that have mod support can be on the Xbox platform with mods as well. And they don't give those same games mods on consoles.
Yo, this just
so we're getting more.
It's just wild, bro. And y'all let that happen. You know what I'm saying? But
but
y'all,
out of all those games though, Metal Hellsinger is a fucking badass game. Like, I'm buying it. I'm supporting the developer directly.
Yeah, but PC.
But if you like fucking metal music, or you like heavy music, you like to listen to it, it makes you headbang. This is a rhythm game, so you're shooting to the beat, right? And there's more and more enemies that come out. And it's like the vocalist that they hired are people from bands, from like known bands, right? That have amazing voices. So you're playing this with different weapons, and you have to switch it up, and you have to when you reload to the beat too, so you can't reload too fast or too slow. It's it's just something else, dude. I couldn't focus because I was headbanging playing that fucking game.
I don't know if I could play a game that goes. I don't think I can do it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What's going on here? Evil incarnate, blood of the Yule. I'm like, nah. I need Jesus. I need a Christian game.
Yeah, Troy Baker is the VA. It's weird, bro. You hear him everywhere.
So shout out.
Are you gonna talk about this DLC, the free DLC from Cyberpunk?
Okay. So, no, I don't think it's free. Is it free? Let me say shout out to Server Era. He says no, P Rock. The bot's too busy pocket watching PS gamers. Oh. Yeah. Think of the children. You know, what's up? Well, you got a big announcement? What's the announcement?
Yeah, I want to make it here. So I'm gonna do a podcast tomorrow morning, I think, and I'm doing a Dono War because Sony made me buy The Last of Us at $70, and now I ain't got no money to wash my dirty underwear with.
Oh, so you need some super chats.
So I need 5 good men to help me wash my dirty drawers for $1 super chat each, or else I'm gonna have to go to work with some stinky underwear on. I got the game.
You better go.
I got the game. I didn't buy no detergent because that's.
You better go commando to work.
I may have to go commando out there.
He's gonna go to work smelling like Lysol. People are like, why you smelling like Lysol? What's going on?
Shout out to Jay.
I may have to go commando.
Jay Thomas says Jade Raymond. Shout out to Jay Thomas. Super chat says Jade Raymond did Splinter Cell Blacklist last.
Oh, that was good.
Okay.
What was her role? That's what I want to know. What was her role?
Let's find out. Let's Google it.
I see it. No, she actually made more than that. It wasn't Blacklist because she wasn't. The last one she was on was Battlefront 2.
Really?
Really? Well, that was good.
And that's a multiplayer game. That was popular.
Group general manager. She was, yes.
Well, that girl they hired is Janine Gravanka. She was
Okay,
fine.
so her
Lord, she was fine.
her games, mostly she was executive producer and managing director for Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Bloodlines, Blacklist, which is a really good game, Watch Dogs 1, which had a multiplayer,
Yes, that was
really
good.
Innovative multiplayer.
That was the only Watch Dogs I liked.
Unity, yeah, Assassin's Creed 1, I mean not 1, but Unity also had innovative multiplayer for its series, which is co-op.
Let's not talk about Unity here. Motherfuckers try to pay my bet with dollar Unity codes.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry.
And Far Cry 4 also had multiplayer, so she had her hand inside of multiplayer pies before.
Okay, so she not a rookie.
Yeah.
All right.
She might not have the full control over it, but she oversaw most of it.
But experience, she seems all right. And then of course we got Bungie.
Yeah.
PlayStation got Bungie. If worse comes to worse, Bungie could be like, yeah, start over.
Yeah.
You gotta get Bungie's approval. They're like,
so yeah, I'm sure that whatever game they're gonna make is probably gonna be pretty unique, because most of the games that she was involved in were Ubisoft games, which Ubisoft is mostly known for making unique multiplayer experiences.
So hopefully that's true. So, we could use some uniqueness.
Yeah.
Vice derivative copy and paste with a different money transaction skin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right. And then what you talking about, Craig?
What's that?
Cyberpunk DLC?
Oh
DLC.
yeah, it was called Cyberpunk DLC. Yeah, it says.
Now I heard it's next gen only.
Yeah, it is next gen only. Yeah.
That's actually Phantom Liberty.
Yeah, basically. All right, so it is free. It's free.
If you look it up, if you watch the trailer, it looks way better than their previous.
Was next gen? Well, one is next gen only, which I think, in my opinion, Cyberpunk should have always been next gen only. It should have never touched PlayStation 4 and Xbox One consoles if they really do it justice.
The funny part is that I think it made most of its money on PC, so it wasn't last gen consoles. Yeah. It was mostly on PC that they made their money. So it's like they could have,
because that was the only good version. That was the only good version.
Yeah.
The PC version. The console versions were trash.
Yeah. Now I think they did a good job on getting back on the customer's good side when they gave you that like a 48-hour trial, or they gave you it was a 10-hour trial. It was something like that they gave you.
So it's coming 2023 for PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and X, and Stadia. Stadia's still around?
Listen, okay, I tried Stadia out a month ago, and compared to like GeForce Now and Xbox Cloud, whatever the fuck, it's like the best one. It's like, and it plays really well. I was playing Destiny. I was trying it out. I'm not really an advocate for it, but
I mean,
they're really good at their cloud shit.
When you're saying it's better than xCloud, that's not saying much. I mean, that's like saying this basketball team's better than the New York Knicks. I mean, is that really the barometer? Anyway, all right, so hey, getting a free DLC 2023, next gen only platforms, so that's a good move. I think Cyberpunk should have.
I'll install it then.
Good. Hopefully that's the sign of the times that industry's ready to move on to just next gen only. Sorry guys, but sorry PS4 gamers, Xbox One gamers. Listen, those consoles been out since 2013, built by 2011-12 hardware.
Yep.
Like
they were outdated when they came out.
Come on, man. There's laptop CPUs in them. Like, nah, we're not doing that. Like, listen, in Wakanda, we don't do it out here. You know what I'm saying? We're not playing with laptop CPUs here. Sorry, we gotta go.
The architecture was really unreliable and got really hot real quick, so they had to throttle down that shit to make it not get so hot.
Yeah, man. So those days, it's crazy.
So the word on the street for Cyberpunk was that the studio heard the feedback from the PC community, because they're mainly a PC studio, that The Witcher 3 was so underwhelming graphically compared to what they showed first, because they had to cater it down to the consoles. So they went into Cyberpunk with a PC mind first, and they went so fucking crazy that then I guess the head was like, yo, we gotta make this for the PS4, you know that, right?
They shouldn't have. They should have cut it. They should have been like, cut it.
So they kind of put their blindfolds on, and they just like PC, and next gen when it comes out. And then when they were like, no, this is coming on last gen, they had to be like, what the fuck, and retroactively do a bunch of shit going backwards now. So that's one of the reasons why it came out really shitty.
So yeah, it's all right. So free DLC next year only. We'll see what's going on. And that's it. That's the topic.
I got a small topic. Yeah, it's a small topic.
Go ahead.
It's all about PSVR 2.
Oh, okay.
They announced that Firewall, the new Firewall game. I'm not sure if it's the same game or if it's a sequel. Because it says next gen features, so I would assume it's just an update or a revamp of the original game. I'm excited, but also a little salty that it's only on PlayStation. But I get why it's only on PlayStation, because I wish they would make something on Quest so that because Quest is like the biggest market or the biggest VR right now, and when it comes to VR. PlayStation will be probably second, maybe could be first, but I doubt it. But multiplayer games on VR specifically should be crossplay, in my opinion. But it looks fucking really good, and the features that they announced that were going to be on the on this game are also really good.
It's called Firewall Ultra.
Yeah, so they're adding adaptive triggers, which obviously we knew that because they can do that. They're adding eye tracking, which I don't know how they're gonna do that. Hopefully they implement it in the game, because eye tracking will mainly be used, in my opinion, for something called foveated rendering. And what that does is that it tracks your eyeballs, right, where you're looking, and whatever you're looking, there's like a little circle that you won't notice it will be like super high resolution, whereas your peripheral will get like lower resolution, so that it gives the PlayStation more headroom to render it.
Yeah, that's better. Incredible tech.
Whereas right now, what we have, the whole screen is at the same resolution, even though you're not having to do all, right? Haptic feedback will be really, dude. I don't have a PlayStation 5. I want to get one, but like I also want to get a PSVR 2 because of that haptic feedback. Like shooting those guns is gonna feel so fucking good, bro.
It's gonna be so sexy.
4K HDR.
It's gonna be so sexy.
4K HDR is going to be crazy because the VR has HDR. It's the first VR that I've seen that has that. And it has adaptive triggers. So the guns, you know how you play in Call of Duty on PlayStation 5 and it has the feedback on the triggers? Yeah. That's cool and all, but in VR, that's where it should be. That's where it's going to be at, bro. Playing a fucking... having an actual gun in your hand, and when you shoot it, it feels like you're shooting the gun in real life, especially for you, Puerto Rico, because you've shot guns before. Like, you know, in real life. So it'll probably feel very similar when you shoot a gun in that game. And on top of that, the new PSVR 2 is similar to a Quest 2 in the sense that there's no camera looking at you. The cameras are in the headset looking outward. And they're tracking the controller. So the first Firewall game was very limited because of that. People still liked it. But this one is going to be like a legit VR shooter where you can literally lay down. You can, you know, move around and not lose tracking because everything is on the headset. So I'm very excited for that.
All right, awesome. I wonder if they're gonna be able to figure out how to make a lot of these PSVR 1 games backwards compatible with VR 2.
It'll work. It'll work pretty seamlessly. So there's two ways that it can go down. One, they just port it, or it'll just run in backwards compatibility mode. So you won't lose the tracking because the headset is tracking everything now. But the feel of the game, think of Hitman VR. The Hitman 3 VR, it'll probably work, but it'll still feel like you're playing on a PSVR 1, even though you have two controllers. The game was made for a controller in your hand, like a DualShock, not the separate ones. So they could either do that, and it'll still play somewhat fine, or they could have an update, go back and fix that, and make it so your hands are independent of each other. So those are the two routes that they can go with older games. It just depends on how much people would want those games back. So at worst, you're gonna get just the game with higher resolution, higher frame rate, or more stable frame rate, but it'll still feel somewhat like the PSVR, but you'll have a little bit more freedom. And at best, you're gonna get like an update that fixes all that issues.
I know one Blood and Truth got a PS5 actual upgrade patch. I don't think a lot of people didn't realize that, and it was worth it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Right. So considering that they went back and did that, right, for the current PSVR plugged into the PS5, I wonder if they're gonna go back and make it so it actually plays with both controllers separately on PSVR 2. So that'll be very interesting.
LC,
that'd be fun in Resident Evil as well. I'm looking forward.
I think they were demoing that on Gamescom. I think the VR version.
We're waiting on that, and TGS as well.
LC with the super chat. Hold on, LC with the super chat. Why are Xbox waiting for PS games to go day and date on PC? That's like waiting for a AAA game going to Xbox Game Pass from Xbox Studios. This guy, he's crazy.
It's not even like that because we're getting more PlayStation games on PC than Xbox is getting AAA games. So it's not.
I'll be honest. I can't wait till VR2 comes out. I'm so excited.
I really hope that a lot of games come out being cross-play. So there's a few shooters on Quest already, Contractors, Pavlov, and Onward, that are really good games. They're all like basically they're 3 different niches. So Contractors is basically Call of Duty in VR. Onward is like a tactical shooter like Insurgency or something like that. And freaking Pavlov is like CSGO. But Contractors specifically, they've worked really hard to have mod support baked in, so it even works on the Quest. And some motherfucker has gone into Call of Duty Mobile and ripped the maps out of that and put it in here. And when you jump into those Modern Warfare 2019, Black Ops 3, 2, and Cold War maps, and you're running around playing with other people, it literally feels like you're playing Modern Warfare on a VR, dude. It looks amazing. So I hope that game specifically comes to PSVR 2 with crossplay, because it's gonna blow the fuck up.
So there you go.
Blow up.
Ooh.
And Pavlov got zombies, Call of Duty Zombies. Like, it literally has all the maps.
Okay.
With the crates and the doors, and you gotta spend the money. So, and that's coming to PSVR 2 as well with crossplay.
Well, look at that. Well,
VR is gonna blow the fuck up.
Man, I hope it does, man. It's a great thing, man. Hopefully, yeah. But anyway, so
let's say even if 100 people buy a PSVR 2, right, which is very little, most games will have cross play. So
you're still gonna have you're still gonna have the community.
Yeah, and so it can start slow, but it doesn't matter because we already have the big community playing on Quest and on PC. So the PlayStation can take its time ramping up on sales and such, because people are going to slowly see the fun of it with crossplay and just keep buying PlayStation VRs. So
okay, all right, brother. Well, we're gonna wrap up the show. That's a great info. Thank you so much for bringing that up. But hey, I want to say, guys, give your outros, Jay.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. As
Always.
usual, bro. It's fun as fuck.
Hell yeah.
Always, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, if you're ever bored and you want to watch someone stream and just have me on second, follow me on Twitch. Call me J360. And yeah, just check me out there. I was lastly playing a game called Gloomwood, which is like a stealth horror game that came out in early access. And I spent 2 hours stacking barrels and crates just to get into a room, even though there was another way to get inside the room I didn't know. So I just that's my fun in those games. All in those Milsim games.
There you go. Check him out. Check him out on his Twitch. Playing dog shit games. Oh, my boy. I'm playing. Craig! Voice of Xbox.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun. I was able to stay. I'm off tomorrow.
No, okay. Yeah, so that's why you have your podcast in the morning.
Yeah. That's the plan.
All right.
Work itself out.
Make sure my man needs new draws.
Yeah. I need 5 men to put $1 on it, so I can go ahead and get me some new draws.
Got some new draws.
$2 minimum, so he can buy some Lysol. At least $2.
Yeah. Need $2 minimum. That's it.
All right.
Don't know wars. That's what it's gonna be called.
Oh man. All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for rocking out. To the chat, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. I hope you enjoy today's episode. 60 frames, no lag. This is your boy Puerto77. Your only friend, these YouTube streets, and I will check you out again later. Maybe I might do a hot take, something. Who knows? But anyway, I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night. You guys take care. Peace.